Hey, hey, welcome, 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 welcome. This is Kat of StrayKatStyle. Welcome to Conversations with StrayKatStyle, episode number 4. I am going to be interviewing the lovely Dia Easley of Pretty Dope Dia. And I'm really excited to get to know her better. Before she comes in, let me quickly tell you, I'm wearing a jacket by Valley of the Mod, and I'm wearing a brooch and earrings that are both available via StrayKatStyle, and then a dress, polka dot dress by Beautiful Roses Boutique. I am really excited to do this interview with Dia. She's got a lot going on. Okay, she's got a lot going on. So let me just tell you a little bit about Conversations with StrayKatStyle. I had decided to do this series as a spotlight on women of color that are rocking the resale game at another level, along with others that are fashionistas that I've come across on Instagram, where I'm just like, wow. What they do is just spectacular. So I wanted to know more about these ladies. Sometimes you do a duo live with someone and you get to know them better, but many times you just kind of see their name kind of fluttering around on Instagram and you're like, okay, who's this lady? Who is this lady? I want to know more about her. So I decided to do this series. I started initially on Spotify, and I do add this onto YouTube. So if you're not following me on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube. I would appreciate it. I need subscribers. Come on, I need subscribers. And then if you also want to be a sponsor, I have different levels. I have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So I will put it in the post when I save this live. I will be putting it in the replay, how you can become a sponsor. It looks like Dia is joining me. Once she has joined me, I am going to go ahead and while she's introducing herself, I'm going to go ahead and share. We want lots of people in here hearing about this lovely lady and all she has to offer. Okay, so let me go on and welcome her into the room. Everyone else, let's say hello, a warm welcome to Dia of Pretty Dope Dia. I love it. This has been such a blast. I have been just really enjoying myself. Let's see. It usually takes about a second for them to be able to come in. She turned on her video. Let me turn this, angle this up a little bit more so you can see my face properly. She's buffing. While we're, let's see, she's going to be coming into me. Let's see. Let's try it again. It has you coming in twice, so let's see what happens with the second request. I tell you, yesterday, mad technical difficulties here on Instagram, so it was a little cuckoo, just a little bit. Let's see. It's still spinning. It's still spinning. So maybe what I might have you do is, why don't you go ahead and pop out and then come back in. Hi there. Welcome to all the lovely people that are joining us. We really appreciate you joining us today for my Conversations with StrayKatStyle, episode 4. Dia, do you see me okay? I think she left. Can you, why don't you go on and exit out and then just come back in? And let's see if that works.
Okay.
That works. Yeah, because it's buffering. It's buffering. It's black with a circle.
But wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can definitely hear you. I just cannot see you. It's just a black circle with a buffer. Do you see yourself on your phone?
No, I don't see you. And I may even have to restart my phone because it's like, it's doing some strange stuff.
Okay, yeah, go on and do that. Go on and do that, and then I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about about the series while I'm waiting for you to do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Coach Con, you guys, thank you so much for the follows. I really do appreciate it. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Kat of StrayKatStyle. I do run StrayKatStyle with my husband Joshua, and we're on various platforms, but our main reselling platform is Instagram. And let's see. Let me hold on. Let me cancel her invite because it's still buffering. I hope that's going to disappear. I hope that's going to disappear in a second. she's going to pop out and restart her phone. So I started conversations with StrayKatStyle as a way to have conversations with different women in different walks of life that are women of color that have been either they're very fashion conscious, they're resellers, or they're a little bit of all of it, right? And I thought that, thank you so much. Thanks, Nia. I gave a shout out of who I'm wearing. I'm wearing Valley of the Mod, some StrayKatStyle available pieces, a dress by Beautiful Roses Boutique, and yeah, I'm really I love this dress. I really do. I love it. I love it. Okay, so hi, welcome. So conversations with StrayKatStyle, because I have a very I have a wild relationship with fashion and how it came to be and how much I love it and the different directions that I've taken in regard to fashion. And so I was, when doing the selling and seeing the promotion that was going on with people that are in the resale game, I just wasn't seeing as many as I would like to of women that looked just like me. So then I'm like, you know what? I need to see some people that look like me. So then I started reaching out to ladies that are on this lovely platform. There she is. So that we can sit down and have a conversation about their history, how they came to resell, what their idea of if they have any influences that influence their fashion game, all that kind of stuff. So she is here now. Look at her. Looking gorgeous. Love the colors.
Well.
I'm going to introduce her once again. This is Dia Easley of Pretty Dope Dia. And I had been seeing your name at different lives. And there would be different, just through Instagram for the past maybe few months. And then when I saw that you were going live, I'm like, okay, I got to pop in her live, see her in person, because, it's all different.
Yes.
We see the name fluttering around, but we don't know the person, so I love to see the person, and I see some of your pieces in the back, and we're going to talk about that in a second, because girl, she's a Renaissance woman. She's doing a little bit of everything. I love it. So why don't you introduce yourself to everyone, and then we'll get started with the with our questions that I have, and then at the end we'll let people kind of chime in. As you're introducing yourself, I'm going to go ahead and share so that we can get some more folks in.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this platform. I truly appreciate you. So you all, my name is Miss Dia, also known as Pretty Dope Dia. I am a Detroit native, born and raised, but soon after I finished undergrad, where I went to Western Michigan University, and I did a dual degree there in organizational communications and Black American Studies. And soon as I finished undergrad, I went back to Detroit, and I was thinking, hey, I'm going to go home and try to, help change the city and all that stuff. But I just knew I also wanted to move somewhere. So I end up deciding to move to Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been here now, next year marks 20 years.
Wow.
I absolutely love this city. I love it. It's real close to how much I love Detroit. I truly love this city. My first year here, well, let me go back. So while I was in undergrad, my freshman year, I started doing a radio show on my campus at my campus radio station. And by the time I was in my senior year, I truly understood just how powerful radio was, and music and stuff, So I knew that I wanted to continue doing radio. When I moved to Atlanta, Atlanta has a radio station that was just everything that I needed. It was an independent radio station. It's a nonprofit organization. It broadcasts shows when I first got down here, and even with me having a degree in Black American Studies, I didn't know who Mumia was and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and all those people. And when I got down here, we were broadcasting Mumia's program from out of prison, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, on the FM dial, all of this is happening. So I began producing and hosting a radio show on 89.3 FM WRFG and I will be celebrating my 20-year anniversary next year. So I do that. I'm also a spoken word artist. I am one of the members of the distinguished group of ladies called Adam's Rib that was started by
Wow.
Georgia Me. If you all are familiar with many of the contemporary spoken word artists, she is one of our favorites. The group also consists of women like Teresa the Songbird, who has the viral video that "You So Black." Yes, it's about 20 of us. And we just all perform all over all over the world, really. And then I also, I start making these here handbags and keepsakes and stuff my first year here as well, because I knew I came from, my parents, my dad retired, so I understood. I came to see how important it is to be consistent, with what it is that you do. So all my life, I saw him getting up, middle of the night, no matter how much snow and ice it was out in Detroit, going to work. So I understood that, consistency means everything. But then my mom was self-employed, and my mom started a nonprofit organization when I was just like a preteen. So I also was taught the importance of service and community and stuff. So I knew that I wanted to take the two of those and make a life out of it. So so I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we're gonna, because some of the things that you mentioned were some of the things I was going to ask you about. Okay. So then I think we're going to go a little more in depth. Okay, because you're talking about being going on to radio.
Yes.
So I want to kind of know like a little bit of that journey and why you like, okay, this is really what I want to do. Whether or not it was like in school, or if there was like you saw others kind of like, or heard others kind of like going in that career path. And so you're like, hey, that's something that I could do. That's what happens for a lot of actresses, singers, like they're like, hey, this is something that I would really want to do.
Yeah.
And so how did you like come into saying like, hey, I want to do radio, because you have a great voice for it, and so it's like, because you're kind of the whole package. So how did that happen? How did that happen?
Growing up in Detroit in the 80s, there was a gentleman named Mason in the Morning, and his radio program was everything. So this was before all of the syndicated shows. He played about 3 or 4 different characters on his show, but it was fun, but it was also very informative. It was family friendly. It was just a great show. And I fell in love with radio back then, but it was when I was in school. And, I first started doing it just for fun. In Kalamazoo, Michigan, we didn't have a radio station on the FM dial that played hip hop. So our show was actually really important to that whole city and then some of the surrounding cities. So at first it was fun. It was, it was fun, but we also did a conversation topic on every show. And I love that, just being able to have dialogue with, with the community and then some of my peers and stuff on campus. But then it was when I truly grew up, I say, in my mind, as a Black woman, and understanding our struggle, understanding our history here and all across the world, and understanding just how important music was to us. So for me, I began to, instead of just playing fun songs and keeping, everybody entertained, I then began putting in more artists like Talib Kweli and Mos Def and, and Common and stuff like that. And to see how much it began to change the environment on my campus. It really had an impact on it. So I learned then that, like, what we're doing is powerful. So I knew though that I would have to stay kind of in the independent, non-commercial sector of radio, because I wasn't interested in going to commercial radio and trying to fight them and convince them to start playing music that wasn't relevant. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
This is relevant. But it's relevant.
Right. And I just didn't want to do that. So fortunately, when I graduated and came to Atlanta, there was a radio station that offered me the opportunity to produce the show like I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? This station actually forced me to be even more serious about, you know, the messages that I was putting out. Now our show is not all, you know, fight the power. It's not all that. We have fun on it as well, but you know, we're very serious about the messages rather, that we're putting out there when we you know, broadcast our program.
No, that's what's so it's not surprising, but it's very interesting that, you know, you mentioned the artists that you mentioned before, how, you know, they kind of funnel and spread out through the suburbs. And then sometimes the messaging, you know, like Common, you know, as a message for him, like a poet, and like, you know, a lot of like positivity, as, you know, and many of them, you know, they have a positive message. And so like counteracts the different types of rap where it's like more like a poetry rap versus like, you know, as far as the messaging. And it's not like a lifestyle, but it's more like it's a little deeper, and it rolls out to the suburbs. And then I think that really enables it to go, and like more people, more eyes on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it's not just the inner city, urban kind of vibe, when it just starts going out to the suburbs, then it's like,
yeah,
okay, what is this? I got to start paying attention to this.
Yeah.
But I love all of the artists that you mentioned. I love all of them and their messaging that they have. And it's like, when people actually, because people know stuff word for word, how they dictate the diction of it. They're like, you know, the little sway to it. You know, people learn that stuff, and then they start paying attention. And then that's why I think it's so relevant in all these different like markets and mediums that we like have a say in it.
Yes.
You know, and we have like say, hey, we have some power bringing this to us, because that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. And the more I learned about you, I was like, man, this lady, wow.
Thank you.
Okay, so you come to Atlanta, and you're doing your radio, and it's 20 years. Wow, congratulations. That is like wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so because there's so much to talk to you about, but I want to make sure we hit everything now, because I looked at your bags, because you are an artisan also.
Yes.
And it's very like, it's a culture, to me, this is my impression. It's like a culture driven, like I'm looking at like the artists you have on, I see Eartha Kitt back there behind you. That's Eartha Kitt, right?
Yes.
I see Eartha Kitt, I saw Prince, I see Whitney, I see like all of these artists that are on your, I'm trying to think of that Shaka Khan. Is that, who is this right here?
Dorothy Dandridge.
Oh, Dorothy. Oh my gosh. It's blocked by the Sharita, girl.
Hey, Sharita.
It's on there. Your name is on there. Made me think of Shaka Khan. Girl, your little Abby is very Shaka Khan. I was like, wait, I thought that was on the bag. I got a little trick. But Dorothy Dandridge, and those are all icons that had a very like, they were trailblazers. So I was seeing these on your pieces. And I'm like, wait, she is not just putting flowers, you know, she ain't just putting flowers, beading, all that stuff. She's got these different things. So tell me a little bit about your line, how you started doing that, how you decided, okay, this is what I'm going to put on it, the relevancy of that. I want to learn more about how your work as the artisan and how that came to be.
Okay. So I first off, thank you so much for the compliments. I appreciate it.
Oh.
So I first saw a cigar box that had Marilyn Monroe on it, and then I end up seeing one that a sister did that had Josephine Baker on it. And this was, like I said, when I first moved here to Atlanta, and my aunt and my uncle, they had a gift shop here in Atlanta called the Initiators Gift Shop. Hey, y'all. Everybody just called us the Black Store. It's so fun. They be like, y'all the Black Store? Because we were in Cumberland Mall for 18 years and super Black. I'm talking super. You walk, we're in a mainstream mall, but we got pictures of Malcolm X at the front of the entrance, everything. So, I saw it, and my aunt was telling me, she said, yeah, the young lady, I've been asking her to make more and stuff, and she just, you know, hadn't responded. And I was so intrigued. I knew that, like, I wanted to create art, but I'm not an artist. Like, as far as being able to paint and stuff, I'm not good at it. Love doing it, but I'm just not good at it. So to me, it was like, this would be an opportunity for me to create create artwork, and then to also, in my opinion, this is how I'm using my degree, because for me now,
Mhm.
I love many of the popular people, but for me, when I first started doing it, my very first one had Billie Holiday on it, and as mentioned, it was 20 years ago, so this was like my early 20s. I'm in my about 23, 24, and to see how many of my peers didn't know who she was, I was like,
Does
oh no.
that make sense? Would be,
Yeah,
yeah, her, Nina Simone. I'm like, really,
yeah,
really? Y'all
yeah.
don't know who
But you
those
know
they
what?
are?
Our school system failed us. Our schools
Mhm.
failed, they failed us. So when I saw how many people didn't know her, it really pushed me to start making these. And I was like, you know what? This will be my way to keep these people, keep their faces in our face.
Yeah.
So I had to get some convincing to actually put more popular people on it, because at first all I wanted was the people that I was either just learning about, or I
Mhm.
felt like, hey, we don't see these people. So I was only doing, even as popular as Eartha Kitt and Dorothy Dandridge is to some, they're not popular like that to many people that was even, at my age at that time. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
sure they
only
heard
doing,
the song "Santa Baby." Yeah, I know they
yeah,
heard
come
that
on, come
song.
on.
They know that song.
But you know
But they
what?
just don't know who it is. They probably thought it was some blonde,
Yes.
redhead,
And
somebody. Not Eartha.
yep. And with Eartha, a lot of people only knew her from, Mock is like, they only knew her
Yeah,
from
no.
the Boomerang, you know. So I began doing that. I do custom pieces and stuff as well, because I feel like my grandmother, for instance, my maternal grandmother passed away at
Mhm.
31 years old. And
Wow.
my whole life, I've been so just crazy over her. Like, you would think that we had the best relationship. I've known her all my life.
Mhm.
And I think of how important it was for me to see her picture, every time
Mhm.
I would go to my aunt's house. And,
Mhm.
and so I try to really encourage people to get custom ones made, because I'm like, we really need to have our grandmas and our great grandmas and stuff, so that our children and our grandchildren and stuff will know who they are. So I'm all about preserving our history, preserving our culture and stuff. And to me, this is a way for me to do that, as well as be fashionable. And I tell ladies all the time, I say, listen, she's wood. And right now, unfortunately, it's a little dangerous for us out here. So if ever you have to hold her tight and get to swinging to protect yourself,
Hey, that jewelry's a weapon. It can be a weapon. Seriously, seriously. Now, but let me ask you, because I'm seeing the images. Do you do, because you know how they do multimedia and there's applied images. Do you do screen things? Do you have is it like a process with the layering of I see the palm leaves and the flowers.
yeah.
Is that how does that work? Is it where it's like a cutout image, or it's a screen
Okay.
print on it? How does that work?
Well, sometimes I do multimedia. Sometimes I do that. So sometimes I'll put artificial flowers on, or just different things. But I design the graphic work, and
Oh,
then I just print it all out. And I do a resin layer, a resin finish on
okay,
on
yeah.
top of it. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
do a resin finish. So yeah, I work with resin. And it's so funny, because for about a year or two, I
Mhm.
did stop making these, because I knew I'm working with resin. And
Mhm.
resin, for those who are not familiar, resin, even with all the proper precautions and stuff,
Mhm.
it is it's a
Mhm.
chemical
Yeah,
that I have to be
yeah.
very careful of. I have to have all windows up and all that.
Mhm.
And I stopped making them, because it was like, people look at it and think that, oh, you just put a picture on there and
Yeah,
that's it,
yeah.
and they only wanted to pay $20 for them. And I'm like, I'm putting my
Oh,
life, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting my life
yeah,
in danger
yeah.
making these things. So I had stopped making them for a minute, but I just felt like my ancestors were on my head, like, excuse me.
Come
Like,
back,
come
girl. It's
back.
essential. Yeah, well, because the thing about it is, you're already taking care of the auditory thing, so the people hearing you on the radio, and then you have the visual. When did you start making the bags? So did you start making them when you were a teenager? When
No,
did you start
well,
making them?
I started making them the first year that I moved here as well. So next year will be
Oh,
my
okay, okay.
20th and yep,
20. Okay.
20
So
years. So
just
I
for a
was in
minute.
my early
You've just been making them for a minute, just a hot minute. You've been making them. And
yeah.
Guys, let me tell you, because this is like, I'm going to do a plug for her because I looked at her pieces. I'm like, okay, my birthday's coming up because she really has some amazing, amazing pieces. And some of them are on sale. And so there's some really amazing, like seriously. And I saw somebody weighed in about how awesome your pieces are.
Oh, thank
You guys,
you.
her link for her shop to purchase it, it is in her bio. So just pop in there, look at her pieces. We have to start supporting our people in our community, in our village that look like us, Black-owned businesses. We need to start supporting them. I know there's Amazon, there's like all these places where you can get mass-produced pieces. We need to spend a little bit more, and if we, spend a little bit more and support our people, we have to do it. We have to do it, especially when it's like, I love doing lives with people that are where they make their pieces, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're getting this piece that is just, it's special. It's special because it is not mass produced, and you're not going to be fluttering around about showing up somebody where somebody is the same bag. And maybe your cousin, because y'all both, you gave her a present and you're like, I need one. It's going to be like that. But it's not, it may not even be that. So it's really, really important to support each other. So please go check that out because she really is talented. And I tell you, some of these women, they have been like the people that you put on here, put on your bags, have been like instrumental to me as a musician and as a woman. When I think of Billie Holiday, because I sing, I'm a singer. People hear me sing some of my lives. I sing, and Billie Holiday. Yeah. Oh my God. Eartha Kitt, she has influenced my singing style. Prince, like all these people that really influenced me as an artist are on these boxes. I'm like, and I'm not going to curse, but I'm like, these are awesome. So I was really impressed. So make sure you go check it out. Seriously, I can't believe it. Michelle, I tell you, box purses, I know, and you run into them. Like, I have one I brought in that to sell. It has a Hawaiian, it's like a luau Hawaiian thing. And like I've seen boxed purses like from, 50 years ago, and so it's something that has carried through and people love them. Like right now, people are in love with box bags. So it's like, if you need to get somebody a gift, perfect. Perfect. Grab them a gift. Amazing pieces. Okay. So we're talking about the beautiful pieces behind, and like y'all saw it in the picture, she's holding one looking all cute, holding one in her picture. Okay, so then let's go on to, because you mentioned the artist, let's talk about the poetry.
Yes.
The poetry and so forth. Let's talk more about that organization, how that came to be, because you said that you're all over the world, right? You're all over the world, and so I want to hear more about that. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so there is a beautiful and amazing sister here in Atlanta. Her name is Tamika Harper. Many people know her as Georgia Me. She was on, if you came up watching Def Poetry Jam, she was on every season of Def Poetry Jam. She is a sister.
Oh, that's how I recognize her name. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sister that did the poem Niggots. Yes. She is just an amazing sister, great friend of mine. And, some years ago, she said that she wanted to, she just decided to do something to bring together many of the sisters that are spoken word artists and poets. And then we have a few of them that are not, but they are in our community. So they either are promoters or, we have some DJs. And we just, pretty much, we do some shows together, and for the most part, we're just like a support group for each other. So, whenever we know that one of us having a show, everybody try to support it. And I'm excited about the future because in the future, we are going to start, just doing more shows and stuff together. But as spoken word artists, that's also one of the places where, when it comes to fashion and, falling even more in love with vintage pieces and stuff like that, my spoken word sisters, we've all, that's
they put it down just a little bit. They put it down.
So it's just an amazing group of women. It's called Adams Real. But again, if you are not following her, the Real Georgia Me here on Instagram, she did found the organization, and I'm just I'm very how do I put it? I'm just humbled to have been asked to be a part of the organization.
So then do you because you know, poetry is very healing.
Yes.
It has medicinal
Mhm.
aspect to it,
Mhm.
and it helps us work through things. And sometimes
Mhm.
people take personal, and you're like, you know what, I'm just working through my stuff,
Yeah.
and it just helps me to not let it manifest physically,
Yeah.
to just get it out there, express myself. And so, do you have because you know, I'm one of those people that, you know, like I would do like burned edges. I would do rolls, like birthday
Mhm.
rolls, and I would write
Okay.
a poem for my friends for birthdays. And so
Mhm.
I would just do that and just make it about whatever, you
Yeah.
know, just but specific to that person. But it could be about anything. Like I'll just start it and just write it and stuff. So I've like written poetry like for a
Yeah.
long time since I was in high school, but I never really did anything with it. But then came to be like in my songs and things.
Yeah.
But do you have a certain subject, or are you, because when I say it's like getting all of like how you feel about certain things,
Mhm.
do you have a certain like kind of like leaning toward kind of subject
Okay.
matter, or are you one of those people that like, hey, I'm going through this right now in this moment, and this, you know, that's how that came to be, I'm just doing that.
Gotcha. You know what's so strange? So I have not been able to write a piece, complete a piece, in over 10 years. It's I
Mhm.
don't. You know what happened? And I'm finishing up a book that
Mhm.
I feel like, and this is just something I've come to this conclusion. I feel like the Most High said, until you finish this and get out what I've given you,
Mhm.
I ain't gonna give you anything else. Because I've been sitting on all of these pieces. I've had, well,
Mhm.
most of them I've had since I moved down here. When I was in my
Mhm.
senior year of college, I went through a period where I was like, I was scared,
Mhm.
because again, I studied Black American history, and
Mhm.
to find out so much that had happened to us. So it was
Mhm.
like all of these
Mhm.
feelings I was dealing with and stuff. And it was like I wanted to express them, but I didn't know exactly how to. I was also scared to express them because I say, dang, it's like they kill or either, imprison all the people that, it was just like all of these things. Because I was learning so much.
Yeah.
So I began to just, I began to write how I felt, and anything that I felt like was either holding me back, any fears that I
Mhm.
had,
Mhm.
I wrote a piece to help me, get through that. And then to also help and encourage anybody else that's going through it to get through it.
Mhm.
So my inspiration truly comes from trying to help people with
Mhm.
anything that I feel like have held me back in some way. So I
Mhm.
write a lot. I do write. One of my favorite pieces is a poem I have called Libations, where I practically just, recognize all of these beautiful, beautiful Black people.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I have the little love poems, the get over him poems. But I am most inspired. I'm most inspired by pieces, like I said, that I know can either help me, because a lot of the poems that I've written, I have to go back like throughout after
Mhm.
writing them,
Mhm.
they've helped me when I found myself back in that situation.
Yeah.
So every time I share them or something, I'm
Mhm.
reminded, like, don't go back here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
hear you. I hear you. And it's interesting you said that, because I think it probably a lot of people can relate to that. Like what because you don't want to force it. Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, I would always like when it comes to songs or whatever, I would like people like, oh, you should be doing that. You know, they hear me sing, you should be singing and da da da. But I will go like a while without doing something, and then I just get that bug, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like go. I'm just like going, 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 and then
Yeah.
it's like a flutter, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just like, you know, I think that a lot of artists are like that, and I feel like we lose ourselves when we try and make it like when we try and make it too like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the formula, just keep it going, keep plugging at
Yeah.
it when we're not feeling it. You know, for me, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think
Yeah.
it's sustainable, because you want to make it like sustainable, and if it's your passion, be able to do it your whole life, grow,
Mm-hmm.
become wiser with it, you know, and just have it like change up a little bit. So it's interesting to say that, because I totally agree with that.
And you know what else is
But that's really, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and you know what else is interesting? So I
Uh-huh.
guess because I'm a huge fan just of the art.
Uh-huh.
So, I've been exposed to many contemporary poets. So, and I'm such like, I don't like copying, or I don't feel like being a biter. You know, growing up, that was
Yeah,
always
yeah,
like a
yeah,
no. Like, you
yeah,
can't be a biter.
yeah.
And it's like so many subjects have been touched on. So even just finding a way to write poems about certain things that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they already have a poem about. You know, I've been trying to figure out how to do that, because there are a couple pieces that I want to finish, but I'm like, but dang, this sounds just like her poem, or this sounds like his poem. So, you know, like I said, right now I just work on perfecting the performance of the pieces that I have.
There you have.
Mhm.
Oh man. And do you ever go live doing your poetry?
Well,
Do you ever go live during those when you like are having like
mhm.
some type of like forum? Like, do you guys ever do that?
Oh yeah, yep. Now, so I used to, again, for over a decade, I was hosting at a venue here in Atlanta called Apache Cafe. Apache
Mm-hmm.
is a staple here in the city. There's actually there's a Tubi documentary called Third and Spring and Third. It's on Tubi. It's amazing, and it's about it used to be called Yin Yang, and for the most part, all of the soul artists that came through from Atlanta in your 90s and the early 2000s and stuff, Yin Yang was like their home. But then it ended up becoming Apache Cafe. So for over a decade, you know, I was hosting like a monthly event down there. So over the, you know, since COVID, I had stopped, and now I only do you know, I do different spot dates and stuff. But whenever we do, you know, shows, I'll go live and show some, you know, share with people some of the footage that's going on.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Wow. Now see, didn't I tell you she knew a little bit of everything? Now we can talk resale. Now we
Yes.
can talk resale. Because, you know, I saw her fly pieces and I was like, dang, that's not my size. Like, man, this is small. I was just like, because I would have bought like everything, you know, but it's like, you know, if it's not your size, it's not your size. What can you do? Especially when
Right.
it's vintage and it's supposed to be your size. You got to get the measurements. So let's talk about that, because you were doing the whole like artisan thing with your bags and stuff. So what led you to like doing resale and then coming onto this platform to like kind of like do the live sell? Like, how did that come to be?
So, well, I'll say I first fell in love with the thrift store when I was just a little girl, before even in the double digits. My great aunt would call my grandma. She lived up the street, and she would call her and say, y'all ready? And my great aunt would pull up, and we'd hop in that car, and we'd just go to like all of the thrift stores on the east side, you know, on Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, growing up in Detroit, I was infatuated with fashion, because you know, Detroit, my parents are the just underneath your Motown era and stuff, so you had fashion. So so I was always excited about I've always loved vintage pieces. I could not wait. One of my favorite pastimes as a child was when my mama would be gone and we could hop in her closet and
Try
try
it
on
on fashion
clothes.
show.
What?
Fashion show.
All day long. So I couldn't wait until I got old enough to start actually wearing these clothes. So so I fell in love with going to the thrift store and finding, you know, vintage pieces and even, and it was okay. So I went through a period where I was kind of just wearing my modern stuff. Like I kind of stopped wearing my vintage pieces. And then a sister here, she's also a Detroit native. She is a spoken word artist as well. Her name is Queen Sheba. And she end up doing a clothes swap party. So this was maybe about 15 years ago. So she did a clothes swap party because it started out in her house, because it was just, you know, different artists that, like, you know, when we're performing and stuff and taking pictures, you didn't want to have on the same outfit. Like, we're out performing every week. So, you know, she started the clothes swap party where everybody just come bring some
That's a
clothes and we
great
swap on.
idea. That's a great
Yes.
idea. Yeah.
Yep. Actually, and we have one this Sunday too. So I'll tell you about that later. So when she started the swap parties, the first one that I went to and stuff, they had like a bunch of vintage dresses, and I just hopped right back into my my vintage dresses. And it's funny because my family and stuff, they would tease me like, girl, why you got them old lady clothes and all that stuff? But I always felt
Oh, you're preaching.
you know,
And then when they tried to something that I was wearing, I'd have moved on.
yeah, come on, you know. So, but I always felt, especially with my shape, where you know, I'm smaller at the bottom, but then, you know, kind of top heavy. For some reason, the vintage dresses and stuff like that, they just, to me, always seem flattering. So, so I just went back into, you know, wearing all my vintage clothes and stuff again. So, as mentioned, my family, we had a store in Cumberland Mall, and we ended up moving into a large space, which it was divided. And in the back room, my aunt was like, just do whatever you want to do back there. So I had, I created my little boutique with all, you know, reselling pieces. So it was called the Back Room, and people could come in. We would do swap parties back there. People could come in, find great pieces, you know, very reasonable prices. So I started doing that. When COVID hit, as mentioned, everything that I was doing here pretty much stopped. Like we weren't able to go into the radio station anymore. We still would do our shows remotely, but then, you know, my livelihood was depending on these events and stuff that I was having, because that's where I sold most of my handbags and stuff as well. And, you know, so I just knew that I had to figure out how to, you know, just create a bigger presence and stuff online. And just, you know, this recent year, I have had to, you know, be home a lot more, you know, just caring for a loved one. And I knew that, you know, like, hey, I gotta work. So, so, you know, I still, like I said, when I have my events, I still bring out some of the clothes, I bring out some of the handbags, but so that I could be close to home and be home, I knew that I had to start going live and stuff a lot more. And I'm so grateful just to have found, I didn't even know, you know, a year ago, I didn't know that there were this many sisters out here, you know, reselling and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
And that's the point that's the point of this series, is so people can see, like, we are so diverse.
Yeah.
We have such a diverse history, but we've all come into this like small business mindset where we want to make our businesses bigger. We want it to blow up. We want it to become like, we want a brand.
Yeah.
We want a brand for ourselves. But there's so many of us that are doing it. And I tell you, I keep telling people, it's a big world, small world. Once you see somebody, once you're introduced to them, you start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how I was seeing your name and all these other people. I'm just like, it is a village. It is a village. It is a community. And like hosting that, I love the whole swap thing. That reminds me of when people do, like, also when women that are coming back to work, like they've been not working, or they were suffering from domestic violence or whatever, and they've like left their husband or whatever, or, you know, any of that stuff, where they're like trying to like get on their feet and do job interviews and stuff like that, how they do that kind of thing. And but I love it where it's like the whole artist aspect, because you know people probably be like, they be wanting some pieces they saw you wearing, and they're like, when you bring it to the spot, when you bringing it, because I call dibs, I want it. You know. So I think that that's really a smart idea, and it sounds like your family's like very, like, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff. So then it seems like you keep talking about your aunt. So was she your like chief influence when it came to fashion? Was she like your, because I always am curious who like got that light bulb going, like they illuminated your mind and saying, wow, I can kind of do this. This is kind of my jam. You know, there's usually someone that's like that for different people. They may not admit it. They may say, you know, it's not. But for most people, like 99.99% of the people, there's somebody that influenced them. Was it your aunt?
Well,
or is it
my aunt is fabulous, but it was my mom. My mom, she could dress, especially, okay, so my mom ended up getting saved when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and she threw away like all her clothes. She threw away all the records, all her vinyl, anything that
You're
was,
like, oh,
girl, when I tell you I was so sad, I feel
so
sad. Like I couldn't wait to wear some of those pieces. But you know, before that, you know, she just was fabulous. And after she, you know, got comfortable and really found herself and found like a you know, a nice little medium or so where she could be modest, she could, you know, be appropriate in the church, but she could still be fly. She then went back to being fly. And, you know, and although size really doesn't matter, because I do come from many very full-figured women, like most of my aunts are. My mom was small, like my mom was maybe a 4 or 6 all the way until she was about 45. So she, yeah, so she,
tiny.
Yeah, she was small. So she, you know, I was able to see her still dress how, you know, like dress in ways that I couldn't even dress. Like, so yeah, it really came from my mom. And then like, you know, these women watching old movies and stuff, like any opportunity. My sister used to tease me because I would have a closet with evening gowns. I'm talking all these evening gowns, nowhere to wear them to, but I just love them.
I would wear some of my 70s maxi dresses. They're like, Kat, you going out dancing later? I'm like, no, I'm just came to shop.
Right. Yeah. So I've always loved dressing up, you know. But as far as my biggest inspiration when it comes to fashion, is my mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my mom wasn't too much into fashion, but some of her, like, you know how people like Moo and all of those like colorful floor, she would rock those, like she would lounge in those, and like some of those were like, I'd see pictures and I'm like, man, that print was fire.
Yes.
It was fire. I didn't recognize it. I didn't recognize it then, but then I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, my auntie Charlene, she was like, you know, when you see flowers in my hair when I was doing the flower thing, that was my auntie, my auntie Charlene. Oh, just like, man, she was just like, it's like you think of like theme music, 70s, like the suits with the wide lapels. And it's just like, I tell you, like, because even though like, because, you know, you hear about the history of fashion and people of African descent, like, you know, they used to be, my uncles used to be having their suspenders on, their dress shirt, their hat to the side, working on their cars. They used to, they were looking fly. So we were like, we were in fashion. And, you know, the Black community is very, very influential when it comes to fashion, like what becomes like popular and all of that stuff. It's really, really, do you have like because I call myself StrayKatStyle because I stray between decades and I mix them together and I find my home with every decade, you know, no matter, I'll stay there for a couple of weeks and then go straight to another one. So do you have a fashion, like a vision for yourself when it comes to fashion, or do you just like, if you like it, you
Not
know
at
what I mean?
all. Let me tell you.
I see your curls. I see your rich auntie vibe right now. I see it.
But you know, it's so funny because I'm telling you, I just live by whatever makes you feel cute, you know. So and it's so funny because one of when I was in middle school, my mama embarrassed me so bad. And it's funny because now I'll do exactly what she did and think that I'm the cutest thing in the world. So my mama came up to my school with a tracksuit on. So it was like, you know, maybe either, I think it was like a little Nike tracksuit, and she had on some heels. And I'm like, you don't wear heels with tracksuits.
Whoa, but baby, she was fashion forward. Your mom was fashion forward. Seriously. Celebrities do that all the time now.
Yes, and it's so funny because now you better believe I have my heels on with my tracksuit in a minute. But that my sister and I, we talked about that for years. We're like, remember when she came over to your school with her dress?
And you're like traumatized, mom.
I was
oh my God.
embarrassed. I was so embarrassed, but I'm telling you now, it's like, oh no, give me all my tracksuits and my heels, and I'm happy.
I know.
But yeah, so I
you were wearing a cute one, a jacket the other day with your jeans. You were wearing like kind of like I want to say it was color block one, nylon.
Yeah. Thank you.
I saw you.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't have one.
Oh, well, you know, I think that that's great. And I think that it's like very important, you know, very important to show that we have like, you know, because to provide as our service that we provide that for women of all different sizes, because every size deserves to feel cute.
Yes.
and fly in their outfits. So that's why it's really important to have it. And some people don't do like bright colors. They do vintage like suits. They do vintage like very pastel-y vintage, you know. So we all like have our own sense of like what we dig. So so I am going to open it up for questions. Okay, because I saw some people like throwing out the compliments and all that, but I want, is there something that you guys that we have not covered that you like, or you want Dia to go more into depth about in regard to fashion? Do you have any questions in regard to her business, where you can find her, all of that? If does anyone have any questions for me? I have it. I have my computer up, so I'm making sure I'm not missing it. So let's open it up for questions.
Yeah.
Open it up. For questions. So are you going to be, while we're waiting, are you going to be, because you say you're taking care of family, so then do you have you been traveling a lot? Because someone said they saw you at Brown Girls. Brown Girls was there, wasn't it? It was in your, so
Yes.
you know what, while we're waiting, talk a little bit about that, because I've been seeing that. I've heard a little bit about it, but for people that don't know about it, why don't you like elaborate, like what, because everybody's like, it was like so like they can't, the words can't describe how much enjoyment they got from it.
Yeah.
So tell us about that while we're waiting for questions.
Yeah. So the sister Lola, she has Brown Girls Thrift too. And it was just a beautiful and amazing, you know, pop up for different resellers from here and from all over the place. Venti Trunk, she was there. I'm sure many of you are familiar with her piece. She has some amazing pieces. Sorry about that. Secondhand Shawty. So it was just a number of awesome sisters there. I cried the next day, and I'm so serious. I cried because it was just like, you know, just seeing so many amazing women, the women that were coming in there, everybody got. Well, you had some that, you know, they came how most of us go to the thrift store when we're shopping for ourselves. They came in their tights, their leggings, and, you know, fitted shirts so that they can try on clothes. But then you had so many that, they came in there ready, like, I'm trying on stuff. But then you had so many of them that came just fly, and it was just so beautiful seeing so many sisters, because one thing that, you know, when you're around women that thrift and women that love vintage and stuff, is like the way you see them, like it's just, you know how they say somebody's just shining. It's like you see them shining because they truly have put together outfits and stuff that just a real reflection of them and their personality. And it was just
say they glow up. They glow up. They glow up. That's what I said. They glow up.
It's the glow up. Because it's one thing when you know, if you just decide, hey, I'm just gonna go into the mall and just buy, you know, whatever is new. But it's another thing to say, I'm going to go and put together all these different pieces, different textures. I'm putting together different prints. I'm putting together all these different things, and I'm gonna shine in it. And it was just, the sisters were there just shining. Like, I'm telling you, I shed some tears the next day. I was like, I just love being around happy. I love being around happy women and happy.
I think it's a very shared sentiment. I think that's a shared sentiment. Like everybody that attended, it's pretty much that I hear the same sentiment from everybody. Man, I'm like, because I was just like, what is going on? I'm in Vegas. I need to fly down, check this thing out next time it happens, because, you know, I love to meet people in person. I do love doing this because, you know, you get to see the person's face, you get to talk, you get to have a conversation, you know, you get to do that. And it's like, I absolutely love it. Love it. So man. Okay, so somebody did ask a question. Michelle, I can't believe you found me. She's asking, when's the next open mic session? And do you bring your bags to open mic?
Okay. Yes. So I do bring my bags out when I host events. So my next scheduled one was for April 30th, because right now I was hosting the just the 5th Sunday. Any month that had 5 Sundays, I was hosting down at Apache Cafe. But another event is actually needing that day. So so it's looking like it won't be until possibly I think May or June have 5
Okay.
Sundays. But every Sunday, especially the first Sunday of the month, my sister Georgia Me, who I was mentioning, she hosts down at Apache Cafe, and I'm typically down there, you know, when she hosts. But tomorrow, I'm not tomorrow. This Sunday, I'm actually hosting a brunch, and it's a sip and paint brunch. So it's called Vibe and Paint. This one is not my event. I was actually just hired to host it, but the brother, he said, hey, I got extra space, so do some stuff with the extra space. I said, oh, okay. So I called up our sister, the Queen Sheba, and she's going to be doing a clothes swap corner. So you can purchase tickets just for the clothes swap. I will have my bags down there. You can paint if you want to. You can do brunch.
Michelle.
It's just a big fun day. Now, it is in underground Atlanta, and you know, many people are underground kind of end up getting like a little bad rep, just a little bit, but they are definitely doing a great job, just bringing it back to a very, you know, awesome and safe place for us to be. So it's going to be in underground Atlanta, and then if you go on my page, it's the first pinned video, the reel, and you'll see more information about it. But yes, anytime I host an event, I do bring out my handbags.
Yeah, y'all need to get a bag, do your reels, do some promo, because you know what, we need to have more in our community just blow up, because everyone's so talented.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I do, the 99% are very, very serious with what we do, and we take our business seriously. And we have a set like business mantra and mindset that, you know, of what we want to accomplish. So, you know, we need to support each other. So does anyone else have any questions while we still have her? Because I know I usually do it for about an hour, so because I know you have other things that you need to do. But I want to see if anybody has any more questions. And while they're doing that, because you mentioned what you're doing, was there anything that you did not mention that you have coming up over the next week or month that you have not mentioned?
What all do I have coming up? Okay, so every year I am on the committee where we host a celebration in honor of Tupac Amaru Shakur, and I know that is in a couple months, but I want y'all to get ready in case you need to travel here to Atlanta. So we always do it either on or around his birthday. We do, you know, like that weekend. And this year, his birthday falls on a Friday. So, yeah, so we're still finalizing as far as the location and stuff, but it's an amazing event. We've had Danny Boy come out for many of the events, and y'all know Danny Boy is on the hook of a lot of Tupac songs, and we have local artists that perform some of his songs. We do some of the songs as poems, and we just, you know, like cover his songs. We've had a couple people write new songs, you know what I'm saying, in his honor. So it's just an amazing event. We also do like paint, you know, you can add a paint session with it as well, where I have different artists sketch up different pictures of Tupac, and you can paint, and it's just a way to celebrate him. Like those that know me know, my co-host on the radio show, he say I think that I shared the womb with Tupac. Like you cannot.
Everybody loves them some Tupac. Everybody.
No,
you got a t-shirt, you got anything. I had a Tupac belt buckle, vintage Tupac belt buckle. I tell you, I used to, when I lived in San Francisco, I had his tape, and I'd be walking around all around the city instead of taking public transportation, and I just listened to that tape over and over and over again. And I'm like, man, there's a song about his mom. I'm just like, oh my gosh. It is like, so, you know, he's out of an impact, you know, and that's the thing about being an artist, you know, can outlive them.
Yeah, so I'm excited to, you know, still be I'm like I say, I'm on the committee for the planning committee for that. So I'll let y'all know more information and stuff. Within the next couple weeks, you'll start seeing me doing more promo and stuff on that. But what I am doing right now though, as we get ready for Mother's Day, I am doing a sale on my custom handbags. So right now So, oh wait, I'm doing 2 sales. So first, on the pieces that I so on the pieces that I already have, I'm doing an up to 50% off sale. So like say for instance, this
Yeah,
one
show
here.
some of these. Show us some of these.
So this one is a clutch, the one with Eartha Kitt, and then the back is bling.
Oh,
I do put a mirror in all of them. So, you know, it just has like a little mirror, and I do coasters and stuff as well. So typically when I do a sale, you get like a free coaster or either free pair of earrings. And right now, I am doing, as ridiculous as this is, I am doing, like I said, up to 50% off. So like, for instance, this one here is just 65, and you get a free coaster with her. And so as far as the custom ones for Mother's Day, so one like this with a single, well, between 1 to 3 images on it, and it's single-sided with the bling on the back, is just $80, and you get a free pair of earrings with it. And then the ones like this one here, these ones.
I'm gonna be trying to buy these now.
So right now, this one is actually, so these ones normally start at like 140. But like, for instance, this one here right now is on sale for just $80. But for Mother's Day, the sale starts at 120 for the double-sided that's like this. So with this one, you can do, say if you want to do one image here, and instead of like the stones, you can do like, I typically will do like 3 different images on both sides. So this one is kind of endless. And then on the back, you can do a collage. It's just a lot that you can do with this one. So these ones start at 120. So yes, I'm running that sale because I do have to start, you know, with the custom ones and stuff. Mother's Day is going to be right around the corner. So all, you know, March and April, I'd like to get to knocking those out now. So that, yeah.
People
So I'm running.
need to start hunting. So people need to start leaving your handle on the counter, on the mirror in the bathroom.
Right.
Like, babe, what is this? I keep seeing this. I keep seeing this. Really don't, yeah, it's on the television. What's this supposed to know doing on the television? Like, you trying to tell me something? Yes. Yes, I am. Yes,
Actually.
Just a little bit of a hint, you know, because we do. Okay. Emily is asking, she says she's driving, but she's asking, what inspired you to create a bag line? She did cover that, but you want to quickly, just quickly go through like how you were inspired to do it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be saving this live, so it'll be up here, and then it's going to be on YouTube also. So quickly go through that, and then Janine wants to know. Is it on the website or only via DM?
So I have a couple pieces left that are on the site. I actually need to go on there and update because I did just sell a few of those. But it's basically, if you DM me, yeah, because it's hard with doing these and then doing so many pop-ups and stuff. You know how it is, like updating and keeping your website up. It's a lot of work. So if you DM me, you know, what you're interested in, then I'll be doing a few lives and stuff. So, you know, when I do my lives, I'll have the sales and stuff as well. But as far as my inspiration goes, I did see one because I had never seen the cigar box purses until I saw them, and when I was inspired. Soon after I saw it, I knew, I said, oh, I want to start making these. And you know, as I mentioned earlier, my degree was in communications and African studies, and for me, this was one of the ways that I could, in my opinion, I could use my degree. I could continue telling our stories and stuff by making these handbags that you know, honor the many different people that we have here. And I wanted to encourage us to do custom pieces so that we could have you know, so that you know, every day that I look at my purse that has my grandma on it, I can think about my grandma, or the children in the house. Every time they see that, they reminded that, hey, that's my grandma, you know, that those faces are in their minds permanently. So yeah, so that was it.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so one last question. How do you select who to place on the bags? That's coming from Hillary of Emily's Joyce.
You know what's so funny? When I sit down and I say, hey, I got to start doing some new ones, whoever's just on my spirit, whoever, some days, like lately, Phyllis Hyman has been on me heavy. Like I've been watching a lot of Phyllis Hyman and stuff. So it's just whoever, you know, is kind of on my mind, and Yeah. So it's like that. And then I also sometimes, depending on like an event, like for instance, when we have the Tupac event or so, I know, hey, I got to make up some Tupac. So, but yeah, it just really just whoever drops on me and be like, hey girl, I want you to make me something.
Ah, now see, come on. How special is that? That is really special that you're
Thank
able to do
you.
that. And you know, I love the creative spirit, you know, and it's just like, you know, sometimes you just, you know, sometimes we don't stick with things, but it does not hurt trying it, and it can become your passion. It can end up like just filling your heart, you know. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been, oh my gosh, has this been such a pleasure. It
Thank you.
has been such a pleasure. I am so thankful that you just immediately said yes, you would do it, and that you have shared your journey. It's been really, really, like, I was reading about you because you know, because I like to research before, but I was reading about you and I was just so interested. So it's in your journey and all the things that you're doing. So I'm really excited to know the backstory of these, of how these things came to be, because it's really exciting. It's really, we all have like such a beautiful, colorful history. And so I just want to say thank you. And I'm hoping that you sell out of bags,
Oh, thank
even though
you.
I'm probably going to hop on the website, you know, and that you sell out of bags, and that your life sales go well, the poetry goes well,
Thank
the,
you.
you know, station. Congratulations again for the 20 years.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was a pleasure. I do want to do a quick, before we sign out, I do want to do a quick shout out, because you can become a sponsored, like a patron of the conversation with StrayKatStyle. This is a, you know, it's a new venture for me. I've been trying to do it for a minute, but this is finally when I'm actually like sitting down with people and having conversations like this. You can do, it goes anywhere from silver to platinum, and it's anywhere from $5 to $50 a year, to be a sponsor. And what will happen is I'm going to start calling out sponsors at the end of my YouTube video. And so, you know, I'm going to add it to the end of the video. And so if you're interested in doing that, just go on and DM me. And if you're not following Dia, Pretty Dope Dia, you need to follow her. You probably are, but if you're not following her, go ahead and follow her. And yeah, I just thank you. I really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank
And
you, Jenny, for that.
may I say this? You are amazing. Like,
Oh.
no, for real. Like,
Hmm.
you are amazing. I don't get a chance to be on the other side of the interview. And this was just like, I just want to sit with you for the rest of my life.
Seriously, we can be talking about, I'm like, I'm doing a first row clothing live. So I'm just like, I got so much scheduled today. You know, because I go live a lot. If you don't know that about me, I go live a lot.
Yes. But you're amazing
So
at
I
what you do.
appreciate that. I appreciate
You're,
that.
and please, you all, it's so important. As mentioned, you know, I'm at a station that is a non-commercial station, non-profit organization, and when you have people like the lovely and amazing StrayKatStyle doing this, it's work. You know, it's work doing this. So if you're able to sponsor, please sponsor. When you think of, you know, between $5 and $50 to support a sister that's doing this, that's nothing. You know, that's absolutely nothing. Y'all know that's gonna come back to you. And it's just for people like, I just did a video, and I know we got to go, but let me share this real quick. I just did a video because it was time for me to pay my annual dues at the radio station. And I started feeling a little kind of way, because I was like, you know, for all of these years, I would get up. My show started at midnight. One of the shows I did started at midnight. I'm like, I would get up as a woman and travel down to this radio station to host a show that I don't get paid for, because the station I'm at, I don't get paid for doing this radio show. I do get paid for doing sales for the station and stuff, but to actually produce and host my show, I don't get paid for that. So I was like, you know what?
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You know, and I said, when it's time for me to pay my dues, I need the community to come together and pay these dues, since I provide this great service for y'all. So, you know, so it just makes us feel like what we're doing is appreciated, when, you know, people will put, you know, put a couple dollars behind the thank yous for doing this and all that stuff. So you all, if you're able to sponsor, and I know you can, because $50, we'll get that $50 back. Okay. So if you're able to sponsor this amazing program, please sponsor this program. And even if you have to just do $5 every time you think of it, you know what I'm saying? Hit that Cash App with that $5. But it's so amazing. Just thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I always get emotional. I tell people I'm not going to get emotional. I always get emotional. That's how I go. I'm just like,
hold it back.
Yeah, girl. I'm just like,
swallowing my tears right now. Like I'm swallowing them. They yes.
So, girl, I tell you. Well, it really was a pleasure. It really was a pleasure. And, you know, I'm coming into my own, trying to do this, interview people and like not babble on and like ask questions that kind of like are what people want to know. So I appreciate the kind words more than you know. So guys, I'm going to save this and then it's going to be added to my YouTube channel. As soon as I'm able to really get that dialed in, I'm going to get it dialed in, but it will be on there. So if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Conversations with StrayKatStyle, it's the same thing. You can, I would love that. I really appreciate it. All right, my loves. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
Thank you.
And joy, love, happiness, all of that to you. I'm sending that out to you. And we will, I'm sure we'll connect soon. Okay, much love. Have heart.
Bye-bye. Right.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Bye.